Ask Dr. Be Good show, the show where we try to shine a light on the positive things going on in public education and at Legacy. It feels interesting being back. I haven't been in this chair for several weeks. I had a guest who took my place while I was on vacation, and so I know they did a good job. Scott talked about the wilderness program that we have for the campuses after school. We're very excited about that, so thank you to Scott Townsend for bringing our guests on to talk about that wilderness program. And if you missed that, please go back to last week and listen to it, because we've got some exciting things for kids who sign up quickly on that. All right, you know what time of year it is, right? Oh, let me introduce our guest before I forget. Let's go around the room. Who are you?
I'm Joaquin. I'm from the Plano campus. I'm in 6th grade, going into 7th.
It's okay to call yourself 7th now.
Yes.
You're at the end of the summer. You are a 7th grader.
Well, that's a big accomplishment.
Yes. And how long have you been at our Plano location?
8 years now.
So you started with us in kinder?
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. That's a neat accomplishment. And you're one of our gifted students. You, your mom tells me you get mad at us because our summers are too long, which our teachers don't agree with you on that, by the way. But we appreciate you wanting to get back to the good work that happens. And who'd you bring with you?
My mom.
So I'm Beatrice Cordoba. Joaquin goes to the Plano campus, and I've got him in 7th grade, and then I'll have an incoming kindergartner next year who is upset that he can't start kindergarten now and that you haven't made room for him. But we've been with Legacy, like you said, 8 years. We started in Richardson when y'all were in Richardson,
Yes.
followed us to Plano, and, you know, love the teachers and love the staff and just keep coming back.
Well, thank you, and we love you. So I asked the Cordoba family to join me today because we're going to talk about what we need to do to prepare for the first day of school. First day of school for us is a week and 2 days. It's a week from Thursday. And so what many parents don't realize is that they really need to be thinking about preparing for that first day of school today, even yesterday, because there are things that need to be happening in preparation for the first day of school that will make that first day easier. So what are some of those things? Well, we need to make sure the routine, that summer routine, maybe a little lazy, got to sleep a little bit late, that go to bed late, wake up late, that needs to change. And if we start changing that now, that first day of school won't be so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make sure that we get our routine back in, and it doesn't have to be, you know, we don't have to have kids going to bed at 8 tonight, but if you've been letting your kids stay up till 10, for example, I'd start 9 o'clock, and by next Monday or Tuesday, I'd start, you know, 8:30, and if your child is at an age where he or she should be getting to bed at 8 o'clock, then we need to work our way so that they have several days of that. And it's the right thing to do for the kids. You know, it may be a little bit of a fight at first, but it'll be less of a fight long term. What do we do with our little ones, our K kids, our kinders, our new to school kids, and our first graders? They're still, you know, they're just 6. So how can we help them warm up to the idea of, especially if they're new and haven't, you know, gone to school before, maybe they've got a Mother's Day out, but they really haven't been gone all day for 5 days a week. Read to them. There's stories that you can read to them. Go to the library, and, you know, I always encourage families to take advantage of the resources and the activities that happen at the public library. But there's, and I've got some names here that were real cute. Yama Yama Mrs. Mama. And we know the Yama Yama series, right? Miss Bindergarten gets ready for kindergarten. The Berenstain Bears Go to School. We know those titles, right? The Name Jar. I like this one, The Name Jar. This is about a new child in school, or being a new child in school is hard enough, right? But when nobody can pronounce your name because you're from Korea.
Oh.
So that, and we have a lot of kids from other parts of the world or other cultures. Even if they were born here, their English oftentimes is their second language. And so having a book like that kids can relate to, I think is it's just the right thing to do. And then there was another one the night before first grade. So preparing kids to think about that, entering into a discussion with our little ones around books is sort of just fun. It's fun, it's smart, and it adds literacy to your family practice. That should be just part of what we do. If you're new to, we'll say Legacy, but this can be applied to any school. If you're new to the school, scout out the school. Go this weekend, and if their playground is open, and most public schools' playgrounds, you can play there during the weekend. Have the kids play on the playground. Have them look in the windows. Just make it a familiar place. One of the things we do at Legacy for kindergartners is we have them come on tour. That's visit number 1. We have them come for student orientation. That's visit number 2. Then there's meet the parent night. That's visit number 3. By the time that Thursday comes where they have to come to school, that's the 4th time they've been there. Even if the parents haven't done the, going on the weekends and using the playground. And that cuts down on the crying a lot.
Right.
And so, do you remember?
I remember what we did for Joaquin when he came into kindergarten. We came for and made the teacher night, and then we came for the student orientation, and just being able to talk to the teacher and tell him this is going to be your classroom. We asked for a schedule, kind of an estimate of what they would be doing by what time, and we kind of then went home and did that schedule and told him this would be the time you're eating lunch, this would be the time you're doing this. But I personally reached out to a lot of parents and asked them, can we meet at the park close to the school and have like a play date or whatever. And then the first week of school, we did that also. After school, we met, we played, we had fun at the park, just so that he could build those relationships. And he still has a lot of those relationships right now with really great friends and great families,
So you eased him into it. What else? Connect with classmates.
Right.
That's one that you mentioned. Let your child take the lead and listen to what your child says and doesn't say. A lot of times kids you start talking about going to school, first day of school, and they get a tummy ache. Right? And we know what that means.
Or they go visit the nurse every day.
So kids can tell us things without using words. And the little ones do that. Because what do we say to them? Use your words. I'm sure we don't have to say that to you anymore, right, Joaquin?
No, but we have to say it plentiful to Jonah.
Well, yeah, he's 4. Yeah, but and these are the cute years. Remember that. So let's see, what else? As a parent, get involved early with school. Find out about the PTA, if your school has that. Find out what the future events are, and be interested in what's happening at school. The families that have high engagement in school have the best school experience. Right. They really do. And if you think about it, let's say that Joaquin is having a problem with one of his teachers. And because you are so involved in school, and the director trusts you, knows you, you have that quick conversation. Hey, Joaquin mentioned this about this teacher. That director is apt to really get that fixed faster, and with just a quick hallway conversation, versus a parent that never goes to school and is you having to use a more formal process, which makes it so much more of a big deal,
right,
than it could be if we just solved it in the hallway because you're seen there so often. And so those are unintended outcomes that are very positive.
Right. Well, and I feel, I know we've been there for 8 years, but I feel that for me, if he is having a problem with the teacher, that I can ask that teacher, can I speak to you for just a minute? Or, or the teacher, a lot of times they will approach me and say, hey, we had a moment today, or we had a moment last week, or I hope you heard about this that happened yesterday, or whatever. And between the teacher and I, we talk, and I never feel that my child is being attacked. I always feel like all the teachers there really do care and genuinely care about what he feels and what's going on. So I think that opens doors. But to kind of, go over what you said, I used to volunteer and go and read to the kindergartners, first graders. They had to do so many reading times or whatever, and I'd go during lunch and read a story at lunchtime. I tried to volunteer as much as I could, and I think that opened a lot of doors for me and made it feel more like home for him. So I think it was easier process for him to start school there.
Yeah, parents who build a relationship in easy times. One of the things that we have to train kids and adults sometimes to remember is that true character comes out not in times of easy sailing, but in rough seas. Mm-hmm. And so imagine that you have a parent who has involved him or herself in school on a regular basis, and all of a sudden we have a new student that's come. That new student is not happy to be at a new school. Mom and dad have divorced. Child is angry and took his anger out on you and smacked you, let's say. And so we're able to get that quickly solved because your parents have built a relationship with the teacher and quickly sit down. We get it worked out. We do a restorative circle with the two of you, and it's done. And it's and usually, if we've gotten really good at working with kids who exhibit behavior that is sending us a message. And so getting a counselor, and we're very fortunate to have Ms. Zambrano back for our 4th year, I believe. Yes. And also getting our teachers trained every year in restorative practice and getting better at that. That is very quickly de-escalating situations or keeping them from escalating, which is the right thing to do in school. I was with new teachers this morning to help them understand that those are non-negotiables. PBL, restorative practice, data-driven instruction, those are all non-negotiables that make teachers more successful with kids. And so helping our new teachers get better at restorative practice fast is the fastest way for us to help kids have a good classroom experience. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. So just for a quick moment, what do we do when the kinders start crying? Because I will tell you, I always like to go the first day of school. I hang out, and I like to be there around the kinder wing.
Right.
And we have anxious parents, and the anxious parents sort of send that anxiousness to their kid who is already anxious.
Right.
So having letting the director have another set of hands to gently guide parents down the hall and help them understand that 99% of the kids will stop crying within minutes, if not seconds, of their parents leaving.
Right. Yes.
And so, but what can a parent do? Parent leaves, the parent has allowed me to guide them out the door, but they're still. So here's what I would suggest to those parents. Contact the teacher a little later and say, how'd he do? How'd she do? And 9 times out of 10, that teacher's going to be able to report they stopped crying when you left.
Right. Yes.
But they need to hear that, and that's okay. How can parents prepare their kids for that first day of school, especially their little ones? Come to school early, get them excited about the school day, give them something to hold or help with, maybe make their lunch, have the kids help them make their lunch the night before. They probably have a new lunchbox.
Right, yes.
And that always have new sneakers, right?
Yeah.
But stay positive, parents. It's survivable. We haven't lost any kinders yet. All right. So We've talked a lot about the first day of school and making sure that our parents start getting their kids in routine. What kind of routine do you use at home?
Usually bedtime at 8:30, wake up at 6 or 5:50.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get everything done, like everything prepared to get up and go.
So do you do it the night before?
Sometimes, yeah, like make my lunch, put it in the fridge, and just all in all have my uniform ready, everything ready, my backpack and everything.
That's good. That ensures a less stressful morning. The uniform does too, right?
Oh,
No
yes.
fighting about what to wear.
Love uniforms. Love, love, love. We have 7 shirts, 5 pants, shorts in between, and it's just here's your shirts in the closet, here's your pants in the closet, your shorts, go, go, go. And we have backpacks ready. Like he said, he has to pack his lunch. He gets that ready and going, and he has everything in there, you know.
That's fantastic. So one of the things I'd like to do, I'd like to add a little bit of extra on the parents' horizon about a way of using this beginning of the school routine and add a little something to it, and that is goal setting. I would like to encourage parents to goal set with their kids, and some kids will be ready for short-term, long-term. You probably will be, but I'd like to see where parents sit down with their kids, and we can do this at any age, even kinders, and say, let's talk about what is our goal around the first few days of school, and having the kids sort of communicate what would having parents say to kids, what would make your going to school easier? What's a good goal? Well, let's see, maybe setting an alarm. I don't know, depending on the child. We have some very alert first graders. You know, they've been with us. You know, the incoming first graders, they've been with us a year, very bright. They might really like the idea of being responsible to set the alarm,
Right.
and then get up when the alarm rings. That might be a good goal, because not a lot of kids have that for a goal. Matter of fact, they wait till mom comes in, pulls the covers over, threatens them, pulls on their leg. And I'm not saying this has happened to you, Joaquin.
So you've been in our house.
Maybe.
But you get my drift. Having kids, the earlier the better, become responsible for setting the alarm and then getting up. And being able to hear praise from parents when, hey, you got up almost every day this week by yourself with that alarm. Oh, man, you're going to be you're growing up fast. Putting clothes out the next day, doing that food and clothes prep, that would be a great goal. Coming home and doing homework without lots of pushing by the folks. And I know Professor Freedom does a training with parents on having a homework nook, a place where homework is done.
Right.
And so that's always a good idea. We may have to have him back and talk about that. Help plan the meals for the week on either Saturday or Sunday, and then be part of the shopping. I mean, it would be great, depending on the age of the child and the interest of the child, but having a lot of these be goals that they work on together, so that the child is actively involved in his or her routine. It's not a parent-led, parent-drag routine. It is one where the parent and the child have communicated. They have come to agreements. You might even put it on a chart and be able to check it off. Hey, you know, you got up without the alarm, without me having to be your alarm again. Thank you for that. And then at the end of each day, have a dinner discussion around the positive things that have happened that day. And it not only what happened at school, but personally. You know, there a lot for kids. A lot of things will happen at school, but there'll be things that happen when you went to soccer practice, or when you went to band practice, or when you met with your cousins, you know, somewhere else. And so, again, research has said that people who end their day talking positively about what has happened are just happier people. Now, most of this is around adults. I was going to say happier adults. You'll turn into a happier adult when you stay positive as a growing adult. So, making it a goal to have these type of goals and to revisit the implementation of goals is a way for parents and kids to be in active communication around relevant issues that over time will build that trust between the two, will build just a deeper relationship, because now the parent can trust you. If you show a whole year of being able to get yourself out of bed and do your uniform the night before and your food prep the night before, and you're doing your homework, your parent not only has bragging rights about what a great kid you are, but over time will be able to trust you earlier in your teen life than those that aren't doing that. And it's a healthy family has teens they can trust, and that's huge.
Yes.
You all know families, and I won't ask you to name them, who have teens whose parents do not trust them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the parents didn't put in the time ahead of time.
Right.
So doing it now has a payoff for the kid. Being trusted earlier in your teen life, are you kidding? That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because of all the prep work the parents and you are doing to build on that. But the payoff it's just fantastic. And again, there's a longer payoff. That long-term goal stuff, if a child's ready to talk about my 5-year plan and my plans after high school and my plans after college, my plans, because one of the mistakes we've made as a society is that when we go to a child in a school, we say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to go to college. That's not the right answer. Joaquin, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Well, I want to make sure that I get a good education. Want to make sure that I, have my goal.
And what's your goal?
Mainly in the biochemistry department.
So you're going to take the health science endorsement?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what do you need to know to get there?
I need to know the biochemistry. I need to know mainly health department stuff, like medical history, a lot of social studies to learn from that, to build on that.
So you know that we have had our first grad from the year before last ended up with a full scholarship at Johns Hopkins University. That's a medical facility. You might want to get in touch with her and see how she did that. Be a great goal to get something like that, huh? And being able to start researching what colleges are going to lead you to meet that goal is part of what we have to help you with. We're training our counselors to use Naviance. You know what Naviance is? That career in college software.
Mm-hmm.
To use Naviance to start with our middle schoolers to help with interest inventories and so forth, so that you can get an understanding earlier in what you need to do to meet that long-term goal. Another podcast we'll have in the future, because we're already running out of time, is the college and career readiness things that we do so that you can start college in 9th grade. We had 2 kids this past year graduate with their associate's degree. That should become the norm and not the exception anymore. Mm-hmm. The legislators have made it very easy for us and easy for parents because we pay for it, even the books, which I know Wiley doesn't do that, and you're from Wiley.
No, not at all.
And to make it very easy for you to graduate with an associate's degree so that you have half of your college done. All right, so let's sort of go back to our goal setting. I challenge you to do some goal setting. We might even have you back on in a few months and see how it's going. But let's talk about some rewards, okay? Mm-hmm. So we've talked a lot about the payoff, but what are some short-term payoffs? What can you think of some short-term payoffs for, let's say, 6 weeks of Joaquin getting up by himself with the alarm, having set his close out, having made his lunch the night before, having done homework, what are some good parent rewards that don't cost an arm and a leg?
For Joaquin, his reward has always been, since he's been little, is books or a Lego, something like that. So we had goals out for him. And so we would say, if you do good and you listen to your teachers and you don't get in trouble and whatever. And, he had to tell us a new friend's name every week. We had to have a new friend's name and stuff. And so we would go to Half Price Bookstore and get a book, or he could go to the library and we would be in there more than an hour, which usually an hour is my limit, but we would be in the library for an hour, and then we would be able to, him and I would sit and play with a Lego, or we would go to a special park that we would find. Just more time, just him and I, or him and Daddy time. Even if it was just going to an ice cream parlor, or maybe even having a day just with Grandma. We always tried to think of free and easy things, and it was more so what he wanted to do was spend more time with us individually. So, and it even now has gotten to that, because we do have a little one. So he does still have to,
Heck, yours are much better than mine. I said a little bit more screen time, and I said a little bit because, screen time now, all the research is coming out. Don't let babies under 2 even touch them. And what do we see at the restaurants?
Oh, yes.
Everywhere. Everybody, including the babies, on the device.
Yes.
Very bad. We need to have some more internal discipline and talk to each other at dinner. Going to the movies, maybe, having because movies are expensive, but if you do it every month or two, there are matinees and there's ways of getting around it, so it's not quite so expensive. And I said, coming to eat lunch with your child, which they may or may not like, depending on the age. I think they still do.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes I think the friends enjoy that more.
I know. Because they're like, hey, Miss B, how you been? Hi, how are you?
They talk more to her than you do.
Yeah.
Well, but it's a treat to see her too, right?
Everybody sees my mom. Like, they all know her. And once she came in and everybody was just messing around a little. And when she came in, they're like, and the new kids were looking around clueless. And so my friend, he just bumps him in the shoulder and he's like, dude, that's Keen's mom.
Wow. Can you come to lunch duty every day, please? So we've come very quickly again.
Yes.
30 minutes feels like 5 minutes, right? When you're having a good conversation. I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your routine. I hope that has encouraged parents to take the next step to become a little bit firmer in some cases around the practice of getting ready for school, not only the first day, but every day after that. And if they have questions, they can post them, and I know you watch our Facebook page, so if you have any questions for Ms. Cordoba on how she gets Joaquin to be the great kid that he is, well, then she'll be happy to answer. Thank you all for being on and for listening, and we look forward to the podcast that we have coming up. We'll be talking in the future about our robotics programs. I just heard that Congressman Van Taylor, who is from our district in Plano, has an IT competition that I'm alerting our IT teachers to. I think that we need to very much take part in that, since that's one of our endorsements. We have, there's so much that's going on in my head because we have so many neat things. Robotics Club. Did you take part in the Robotics Club?
No, but I will be this year.
Oh, because you're now to the age. Okay. Well, and we're starting our own after-school program, and we're hoping that our after-school program will also have a robotics club, so that we can do competitions earlier on and faster. But we will take part in the competitions around the Metroplex, like we did last year. It's just a very fellowship building, cognitive development building opportunity for kids to figure things out in a relevant way, and fun too. And I don't know if I've said it at a podcast, but the competitions, the robotics competitions, blew me away the first time I went this past year, because it was not anywhere near what I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be this sort of quiet nerd, but no. They had cheerleaders, they had mascots, they had part of their band was there for some district. It was fun, it was noisy, and we now need to go get some more foo-foo for our
I know
teens.
our city of Wiley kind of closed down for our when we had the competition there.
So anyway, it's good to talk to you. It's good to get back in the seat and talk about the upcoming school year. We have so many exciting things. Our scores are good. We have just made so many gains. We have our directors back and just going to have a great year. And we look forward to sharing all the great things that are happening in future weeks. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Dr. Be Good show. For more information on Legacy Preparatory Charter Schools, visit our website, legacypca.com, or call 469-249-1099. And remember to like us on Facebook, where we stream live weekly Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Thank you for tuning in.